Well, hey there, everybody. Tara Alshire here, and I am going to be putting together a video for you to watch. It's a very, very crucial video, and it's going to give a lot of insight to like the middle of the story, if you will. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because it kind of will give you an idea how to go forward and how to go backwards from here. I thought about it long and hard. It's a very long video, so this is for the ones that actually want to just sit down and have a Saturday night show. And if you don't have time for that, that's fine. I mean, maybe you could take this in chunks if you like to watch stuff or read stuff or listen to stuff while you work. So anyway, I want to go through a couple things that I think are very important to preface this video. What I'm going to be showing you right now is kind of the read these first part. And I'm just going to read through them. And that way, if somebody's listening to audio, they don't have to watch the screen. This is the email thread I will be referring to in the video multiple times. I did not have it before this meeting, but I requested it from both St. Louis County Sheriff's Department and City of Rice Lake so I could compare the two. Lo and behold, St. Louis County Sheriff's Department gave me the complete and full exchange, and I received that back on September 18th, 2025. The City of Rice Lake sent me a redacted version with one of Tony's made-up statutes to protect Daryl's screenshots from him and Yvette, or that him and Yvette drummed up from their Karen Club, as I like to call it. Keep in mind that at this point, he is just an appointed official. He's never been an elected anything. I love that. Not to mention, he wasn't sworn in until the 7th, as you can see from Commander Rash's email response. So how the hell did he have a city email, for one? That's one question I have. And then, and believe me, I asked the mayor this, but that goes nowhere. Did he have the city email the entire time that he was not in office? That's a question. Was he doing city work while being a citizen? Like, that's a question. What else did he have access to during this time? These emails were just 5 days after that recorded conversation on 6/25 with my husband Justin at Public Works. And he also referred to the citizens as my citizens. My citizens say the roads have never looked better. I find that, that's like one of those subconscious like slips. That's a Freudian slip where he truly just believes that he is the ruler of the city. So my citizens just slipped out. But I question that. So like while he's gone, January through July, Justin Alshire has like zero problems, zero issues. Suzanne had to squash one thing and then told Shane and Tony to knock it off. But Justin Alshire does an impeccable job when he's gone. But then when Daryl returns, Justin is magically a piece of shit. That is weird to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Going into the first part of the data requests, you can pause the screen if you actually want to read through these, but I did a couple right out the gate. And then when I had to return to pay more, which is fine, whatever, it's been worth it. But I had to pay more because of they go off of, at St. Louis County, they go off of their IT hours. So however many hours the IT department had into it. So when I got back to pay for the second, or like to go pay the second payment, I was like, you know what? I'm going to, if I'm going to be paying a second payment, I'm going to add more names to this just in case for keywords. So I revised it. I resubmitted it with more information. You'll have to excuse my sloppy handwriting through all these things because, wow, was I speeding to get most of this done. And then you'll see the receipts of the first goal was $90, and then I had to go back and pay $22.50. Well worth it. I'm telling you, well worth it. Okay, now we're into the correspondence and the emails that got started on Monday, June 30th, 9:51 a.m. You have Wade Rash messaging Tony Bloomdahl. Hi, Tony. I spoke with Daryl this morning about the actions after the last meeting, primarily in the parking lot. I will talk to you later this morning about getting a copy of the footage and how we may review it. Thank you, Wade. It's kind of hard to read this because the way emails come up, I always try to put them chronologically, but they tend to go backwards. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, that message was actually first, and then Wade's response is above it. So from Tony at 3:15 p.m. to Wade Rash. Hi, Wade. I will send links to the footage. We have 2 cameras on the parking lot, so I save both angles as well as a camera in the hall. I started at 7:35 p.m. so you could see the activity that took place in the parking lot before the meeting ended, and then went to 8:45 p.m. when I left the building, as I was the last one there. I also included a small portion of the hall for after the meeting when someone approached one of our city councilor members and was yelling at him after the meeting. You may also want to keep an eye out for the little baby in the video and where he ends up for about 20 minutes during the videos. And then she has all the links. It says, let me know if you have any questions or need additional information from me. Our system keeps the videos for 20 days or so I can pull more videos if you need. Thanks, Tony. Now, really quick before I keep going, every single thing about this is directed towards me. She intentionally sent footage from before the meeting so he could start tracking when we got there, activity going in or going back out to the vehicle. Like that is the only reason why she felt like she needed to do that. And then including the small portion of the hall, the someone who approached city council member, that was me. I was not yelling, and we've proved that. And then, of course, the little baby is mine, but she lied. And she says he ends up out there for 20 minutes in the videos. And the awesome part about that is the videos prove her wrong. And anyway, we'll get on to all of that later, but it's so much to digest. We have to take chunks and we have to do this a little bit at a time. So Wade responds, got it. Thank you, at 3:29. Then Monday, 8:22 p.m., after the responses from, I'm assuming he must have got updated from Tony because, obviously if you look back, it was just Tony and Wade Rash. And then you have Daryl Johnson again on Monday, June 30th at 8:22, but keep in mind, this email is coming from Daryl J at ricelakecitymn.com. That is 7 days after he basically won an interview. That's it. That's all he did was win the interview. He has not taken an oath. He has not been sworn in. How he has this city email address is concerning. But of course, he messages Tony Bloomdahl and Gordon Ramsay and not the mayor, like the one person in the city he should be putting on there. No, just Gordon Ramsay and Tony Bloomdahl. You should all really, really, really question the relationship between Daryl and Gordon. So I'll leave you at that. Go ahead, sleuths. Go get them. Good evening, Wade. I believe City Administrator Tony Bloomdahl has forwarded the video of the incidents at City Hall parking lot to you following the council meeting on June 23rd. It is unacceptable for our residents, employees, or council members to be bullied or threatened after meetings that do not align with their interests. This behavior has been the norm in the past 7 months since the election. To address this issue, we must ensure the presence of a deputy at both the meetings and outside City Hall after the meetings to maintain order on city property. The situation has escalated to the point where overtime may be necessary, and we do have the hours set aside each month for that pay as needed. July 7th is our next meeting date. I anticipate that the next 2 months will be challenging. Please share your thoughts after reviewing the videos. Below are some messages I received over the weekend. Note, he said, I received over the weekend. The next thing you'll see is the screenshots from the wonderful Lynn Levine. You'll see her sitting a lot next to Yvette at the council meetings. You cannot miss her hair. I'm going to try to be kind here, but, a good lookalike or stand-in would be Bozo the Clown. So if you're watching those videos, she sits next to Yvette only in the summers, because in the winter she goes to Florida. And yeah. Anyway, Lynn Levine says, I was leaving when Tara yelled at the mayor in her truck window. You didn't do what we wanted. Why would she F-bomb Mark? Everyone may need a restraining order against her. We waited in the parking lot for Sharon and Brian, and boy, was it a yelling match. We were by our vehicle mostly, and she came to us. She makes me laugh with how insane she is. On the bottom, you see messages. They're kind of hard to read, but I will read them to you. It is Crystal Souderland, and it's very important to note that these are two different phones. You can tell there's no way somebody would just like have it on dark mode and then have it on light mode and then whatever. So obviously one of these is Daryl, one of these is probably Yvette, most likely. I'm just going to say that. That is allegedly. The first one says, thank you. Let me know if they need a statement. Okay, so let that sink in for a second. Let me know if they need a statement. Okay. Well, who are you talking to? Because clearly you're talking to somebody that is going to be reporting it. Okay. Anyway, moving on. She says, I thought of contacting our mayor, but somehow that feels like it would be useless. No one at the city meeting should feel unsafe or threatened. And the typed response getting ready to send is, I'll keep you posted. And then a different message thread from Crystal Souderland on the other phone, which again, I know one is probably Daryl and one's probably Yvette. It says, Tara verbally assaulted me as well for looking at her. I asked if she was in the 7th grade. She has no business there, and because of her behavior, she should be banned. She threatened me. You and I are going to have a problem. I wonder what the problem. I'd never met her before, and it's spelled B and 4. Just so you know, like somebody who's going to submit this to the St. Louis County Sheriff's Department. That's how you're going to write it? Okay, cool. And then the response was, she should be banned. But how do we go about doing that? It's interesting, those responses. Okay, so the response to how do we go about that is, she threatened multiple people. A restraining order. She is not a Rice Lake resident. That was their big thing. I'm not a resident. Okay, yeah, well, I own a business in Rice Lake. My husband works for the city. I'm pretty sure I have reason to be here. So the next one is this Joy Kennedy. And she was an absolute treat. So she was going out with Lynn Levine, or at the same time, if you will. And she writes, Crazy Tara was spouting off in the parking lot. Now, first of all, I'm just going to say, she spelled my name wrong. So there's that. So clearly she doesn't know me. But she admits that I don't think she's ever, I'm pretty sure she says in here that she's never met me. And so I'm crazy, Tara, already? You've never met me, and all of a sudden, like, you don't even know me, but I'm crazy, Tara. Okay, cool. Another guy was yelling at Bob from the panel, and Bob was yelling back, asking the guy if he'd like him to call the cops. I was talking to the lady with the red hair, redder, Bozo the Clown hair, aka Lynn Levine, that sat in front of us, and Tara was yelling at her. Tara drove past us with her husband, and she was giving us the finger. She left out the part where I said out the window, nice hair. And then she said, nice ponytail. I'm like, oh, good one. Anyway, Joy continues by saying, I asked her right to her face if she's mentally okay. Twice. Because she was hollering in my face. Then she proceeded to say, I have a baby, ... I cut her off and I said, yeah, we all have had babies. Oh, I know she hates me too now. Laughy face, laughy face. Last one, but definitely not least, your claim to fame fire chief, the main guy in the story of the memo to Suzanne. He just, it's incredible because when he wants to be considered staff, he gets included, but he's not really an employee, but he's considered staff for the city. But then when he writes a memo to the mayor and actually gave it to Jamie to give to Suzanne, but then when Suzanne is gone, they call it out and they just say, where's the letter from? And they said, oh, it's just a citizen, a concerned citizen. It's like, okay. So he gets to play both sides, like whenever it suits him. Mark Nemi says, she conveniently forgot to include the part where she swore at me first and then left her child unattended in the car for a majority of the meeting. I honestly, there is every single thing about this is a lie. And I love having it because everybody who swears that Mark Nemi is this godsend. Oh my God, this entire thing is a lie. I have witnesses. I have testimony. He swore at me. I did not swear at him. He told me to fuck off twice. There is so much there. And then left my baby unattended in the car for majority of the meeting. Okay, well, you guys, you're using the video that's going to work against you when we show you that that's not true. So here we are again. Bunch of fucking liars. So anyway, let's keep moving. And then I just zoomed in so you could see. Thank you, Daryl Johnson, city councilor. City councilor. Not yet, bud. You haven't even been sworn back in. That's a lot of balls right there. Okay. So on to the response from Wade Rash. Now, Wade Rash sends on July 2nd to Daryl, Suzanne, Tony, Bob, Jamie. So I think we just broke open meeting law. But anyway, I wonder if the sheriff's department has rights to do that. CC's Gordon Ramsay, Brent Donahue, Jason Akerson. And I believe Jason Akerson is the undersheriff, if my memory serves me correct. And Brent Donahue is a friend of Daryl's, a lifelong friend of Daryl's. Super nice guy, but just to show you there are some connections. That's why he would pick those people. Hello, all. We have reviewed the surveillance videos from the meeting last week. I can totally understand the frustration at the disturbing conduct by some people after the meeting. Next week, on the 7th, is a finance meeting. I understand Daryl will be officially sworn in as counselor. Both Austin Wick and I will be there. I can address the attached disorderly conduct statute to the audience if the mayor would like. We can also do it again at the July 14th meeting if that would be helpful. Prior to the meeting, I plan to speak with 2 specific people from the video about their conduct and the disorderly conduct statute. We will help correct this behavior and make all the residents feel safe during and after the meetings. Tony, please share with all counselors. I wasn't sure on a couple email addresses. Thank you, Wade. Now, I just want to say, this is the next one, and it's very good because it has something very audacious. She responds to Wade specifically based off of the last thing you read. She didn't get tagged in all the previous. This is only going off of the last thing that she read. Now, she's getting that just like everybody else is. She's never seen it before. So then she responds as a mayor would. Hi, Wade. Feel free to bring back law and order as you see fit. Thank you. He responds in a very inappropriate way. And I don't even want to get into this part because this is, again, going to get into the weeds. This will be a whole nother day, a whole nother topic, a whole nother episode. Taser, taser. Now, Anybody who is from Minnesota most likely has seen the cop who accidentally shot somebody, or said she accidentally shot, but yelled taser, taser, but grabbed her gun and killed a man. And she is serving prison time, I believe. So that is a well-known statement, and it should probably be taken very seriously. Now, I'm just going to say the response from the administrator is LOL. Thanks, Wade. But why that's even more egregious is that Mrs. Tony Bloomdahl just happens to be married to Mr. Bloomdahl, who is part of the Duluth Police Department. So don't tell me that she doesn't know exactly what that means. Not that Wade intended to say that he wanted to kill me, but very distasteful. Shouldn't it even been, like, even if he made that mistake of sending it, there should have been no response. I mean, you could even say, thanks, Wade. But the LOL? You really thought that was necessary after taser, taser? Okay, all right. So, and then everybody else wants to tell me that Tony's this righteous woman and not evil. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Maybe to you, she's not. That is the original data request from City of Rice Lake. I sent it on the 31st of July. And this is the one that I referenced in the video multiple times. I went back and forth so much with Tony on this, just saying, I know you sent it to the sheriff's department. Just send me it. And she's so ridiculous. I could go off on a whole nother tangent. I could share all the emails back and forth. I think there's like 30 something pages I have between her and I on data requests. And anyway, this is the original number 8 data request. And then I'm going to follow that with the next one, which is the number 12, because after I couldn't get an answer on 8 and I tried to call her out a bunch of times, and then she like pretty much dug her heels in, then I reworded everything. And you can see on the top, I write number 12. I said a continuation or expanding on data request from 7/31/25. So she was doing anything to buy time. And then the pretty much grand finale, I would say, of it all is that when I finally did get her response back with these emails that I got so easily from St. Louis County Sheriff's Department, but couldn't get from our own administrator, she redacted Daryl's screenshots, and she said the remainder of the email is redacted per Minnesota statute 13.601 subsection 2. And I'm not going to pull it up, but basically what that says is that elected officials are protected. Now, I have to pick my battles because it's constant with her. She lies and makes things up so much. But first of all, let's go back. He's not elected, period. End of story. He's not elected. But on top of that, he sent these while he was a regular citizen. And on top of that, he sent them while using a city email as a regular citizen. So there's so many levels of wrong, but you just, like, I had to pick my battles. I could spend every single day going after. I mean, she got Justin fired for a pre-trip. I could point out 17 errors in just one email thread. She's a joke. She's a joke, and she needs to be fired. We've had so many good people before her. I've heard so many people that have left because of the toxicity there. It's just not fair. But anyway, we're gonna expose them. That's the goal here. Let's just do it. You play with fire, you're gonna get burned. And I asked them, please just do what's right. And they just can't. They won't, they can't, and they didn't. And this is the result. So enjoy this video. It's long, but I think it's engaging. So I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy. A good spot. Okay. Hi. Hi, how are you, Commander Rash?
Doing good.
Okay.
Wait, Rash. Justin's now there. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. And I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We just kind of walked in the door. We are going to be recording this just for sake of.
Posterity.
Yeah. Well, and we have a lot of things going currently. So obviously we're going to bring the staff in, and I'm going to let Mayor Heim lead because we're going to city.
Waiting for Tony to get here, she has to run and get her son.
Okay.
We're gonna start with just us.
Just
And
us.
then
Sure.
call in staff as needed.
Okay. Perfect. I actually think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Most importantly, the reason why I wanted you here is because there's been a refusal to produce the sheriff's email to you with the link. It was on one of my many data requests. I specifically said I wanted all emails with any link, and it's just been evaded like crazy. I do have the data requests happening at St. Louis County. I talked to the main recorder. She's got a really cool name. It's like Paola or something like that. But anyway, she was really kind. She tried to push IT to have it to me today, and they clearly weren't able to do it. Totally
Okay.
fine.
Paloma.
Paloma.
Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
she's so nice.
She's super nice.
She is super nice,
Yeah.
and she's just a doll. So anyway, I do have that data request coming, and then I asked for it from the city of Rice Lake. Haven't got that yet, and that's kind of why I wanted you here, because you guys were the only ones that had the link. So what has been portrayed is that the leak came from you, and I know for a fact that's not true. And that's a pretty strong accusation in my world. I would never throw shade at the sheriff's department.
Who said that?
Well, it's been said in many of our conversations. You said, Tara, you don't know who had the video or who saw the video. And I said, yes, I do, because we know that none of the data requests for the public were fulfilled. And the only link that was sent was to the sheriff's department, which I know you guys wouldn't. So the only people who could have watched this video are the people who can log in on the cameras, and I have that list as well. And that's not why we're here. We're here because of the report and the malicious intent behind the report. Because we know we have nothing to hide, but we still had to go through having a day where we both had to get off work, and we had to sit down and be scared and like invite social workers into our house. That's not comfortable, even though they were the nicest people I've ever met. All of this is not comfortable, and we should never have had to do it. So anyway, that aside, I just want to put that out there for you. When we have the structure of this meeting, this is strictly focused on how he's been treated, how our family's been treated, and this straw that broke the camel's back, because it has gone too far. I didn't have the case files. I called St. Louis County today, the reporter. Oh, I'm sorry. She said that it can take up to 2 weeks for getting these cases after they've been closed. But I do have the St. Louis County report just saying that, writing about the recent visits and human services. We talked about your child safety. They have to go through, like, did you know you're not supposed to leave a baby in a pamphlet? Yes, I got the pamphlet. So it says, thank you for talking to me with your family. We agreed during our discussion that your family does not need services. This is not being investigated. This is not followed up on. We've done everything we can, so that's why the kids are not a part of this. So,
Thanks, Mike.
the transcript, thank you. The transcript I received, or that I created, and I have this recording and I can share it, is based off of the recording of the CPS call, the initial call, when he read it verbatim to me, and then again when he came to our house, he reread it again. And so what I did, because I couldn't access the files just yet, I made a recording, and I edited out all full names, social security numbers, things that a lunatic could hit. I get so nervous about sharing stuff that somebody could take and twist and whatever. We talked about this with our children, your grandchildren. So I do have a recording, and at minutes 3:35, he says this, and at minutes 2043, he repeats it. So, I don't know if you wanna get right into it, I don't know how you wanna structure this. I do wanna say, first and foremost, after what I found out this morning, which I did find out, I wanna apologize to you, because you were my first immediate culprit. And so, I did think it was you, I apologize, based on the history we have. I'm only human, so I hope that that can set the grounds to being human in this office, but I did find out who did it. So, and if you were a part of that, I would hope that you could just come forward and say, but, all right, where do we wanna go here? Okay, so, the report says, the report was done electronically on 7/20/2025 at 9:49 a.m. And the report was done anonymously. It was not a mandated reporter. He says it on the recording. It says there's a parking lot video of Rice Lake City Council meeting on June 23rd, 2025. Parents left baby unattended in the parking lot during the council meeting. You'll see parents bring 9-month-old baby out to the car and leave unattended for long periods of time on the video. They also have to write in this report, like he says, they kept saying they have the video, but they didn't submit the video. So this person is obviously part of the login, and that's why I went down that rabbit hole, because I was trying to figure out who has access to this video. I knew that you got it based on what she had said, but in my understanding, nobody else, except for the people who could log in, would have access to this video. So, that's when I started going down all the rabbit holes. So,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Tara, do you think that I know who made the report?
no, but I
Okay.
wanted you here because when we had first started, and obviously this meeting has been pushed and pushed and pushed. So my initial thing was, is I didn't want anybody alluding to the fact that you and the sheriff's department would have ever, one, loosely held that video, or if you reported it, you're a mandated report, you would have to say, while watching this video, we saw concerns. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Department would like to send St. Louis County social workers just to check it out. Would that be accurate saying that? Like,
Correct, we wouldn't make such a report anonymously, that's accurate.
Exactly. And when we talked, and I gave you the details and I said, you know, the report was done on 7/20, but the meeting was June 23rd. You had made, you know, reference, you're like, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you on the fact of, I don't think this is a little old lady in her house concerned about a baby. And I agree with you.
Because of the time frame from incident
Yes.
to reporting, the person would have had to have been stewing for weeks,
Exactly.
you know, about it, so.
And I have that in the recording as well, which is great because the social worker we worked with is the longest standing social worker there. And he is so well versed, and he said, at one point he says, this is very odd. I mean, if you want, we can play the recording and I can let you hear him, but he says, this is very odd. I've never had a report come in a month later. I guess if it was me and I was worried about a baby, I would have called the cops right away. He also brings up, where is this at? It says City Hall. And I said, yeah, my husband works for the city. And he says specifically, ooh, it sounds like somebody wants to get him in trouble. He also says it's so sad when people weaponize this. He also asks details on who we think did it, and I have that recorded. It's very clear to me that somebody with that much experience was affirming everything that we were talking to him about. And you can hear it in the audio. But this morning I was able to pick up the data request, one of the many that I've done. And this one is where the tell-all came in, before I got that email with the address location. I've asked all of so I called, what's her name again? Paloma. I called Paloma. She was gonna try to push that data request to be here at 3, but it didn't. So I do have the Sheriff's Department emails and all of the communications coming to me. I do have a request in for the St. Louis County social worker report. You could not ask for this until the file was officially closed. and then it takes weeks. So most recently, one of the biggest aha moments that I've had in this particular topic was finding out who could log in. And in that login list, so on the login list, I might have to pull it up digitally here if it is. You can see that the cameras are separate and that each person has access to these cameras in a different capacity. And that on this one, these would be the only people that could go into this camera and view any of that footage. Correct me if I'm misspeaking.
That's correct.
So at this point, now I've got down to these people. But in my mind, I know that I'm not dumb. People talk, people gossip. I've been told that there was multiple people watching, and then in some of the recordings we have another City Hall employee that was very well versed in the video, but she's not on this login. So that tells me that more than just these people have watched it, which still makes the city accountable because these people should be accountable for that video. So as we went through this, once I got here, then I called Pat Malley, who owns the IT company in Duluth, or runs it. I don't know, does he own it? Does he? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I got this morning, and there's some questions on here that I haven't been able to respond or get to you on, but there's some things that are missing, and I want to know why and where they are. So we'll start from the bottom up. So this is the first message, and this is from Pat Malley on August 19th. And you can see that this would essentially be the second message here at 1:39. But if you're printing, these don't line up. And then if you notice, this has a 1 and this has a 3. So page 2 is completely missing.
Correct, that's why that one is circled, because I hadn't included my response to Pat.
Okay.
And instead of charging you to reprint,
You could have
everything
charged
again?
me $20 a page. I'd rather
So
just see it all.
that's the only thing that's
Yep.
slid in between there, because Pat replied to this email and I had sent him that response in between. He did not reply from that response.
Okay, but then why do I have this in your same email thread with the exact same thing? Thanks, Pat. And then it goes into a different thread of something else you wrote. Is this Gmail?
No, this is Outlook.
Outlook? Okay, well, any email source. They are chronological. I mean, it's pretty much, it goes in flow. Here's this one. Next one would be this one. And you're saying that this is that. Okay. Well, then this would have been here. They wouldn't be two matching, so something got deleted.
They're time stamped, so you can look at the times too to follow the chronological order.
Yeah, but this is missing. This email should be right here.
Correct. I replied to Pat with this, right there. This is perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Pat followed through with the reply from the other email in the same strain, but did not reply from my most recent reply. So I can certainly print this whole email for you, which will have all of the exact information except for,
Yeah, I would just like to see it in motion because we're missing a page. And then this doesn't go in cahoots with this. So you're saying that somebody can, I guess in Gmail it's completely different, but I can't respond to somebody in the same thread and have one completely missing. That just doesn't happen in Gmail world.
it depends on how you have your email set up, but yes.
Okay,
that is
well,
true.
I would strongly suggest for your guys' sake and data requests that you maybe rethink that because it looks like you're deleting stuff. And I think that's a pretty obvious assumption when things are missing. So, anyway, I would just like to know that I got the complete and full file because, again, going back to the beginning, you and I talked on the 18th. And you said specifically, I say to him, I just spoke with Jamie again via text. She said Tony requested that information too, ? Is that correct? ? Or did the mayor ask you to loop her in? Being that this is going to be under investigation, I strongly encourage that you only send the information to the mayor for starters. This is an extremely important situation that needs to be handled directly. And I got a text message from Jamie. FYI, I just talked to Pat. He informed me that Tony also asked for this information. He'll be sending it to me this evening. So this is the 18th. And I have no correspondence, so either you called Pat or you didn't have an email thread with him asking him for that information.
I did not ask Pat for the information.
Okay, so,
He called me to see if it was okay to release it to you, and I said, I don't know what's in the information.
okay,
So no, I don't want you to release it to her, because there could be private data in there.
okay.
And that's why Pat would have said you requested it.
Maybe, I don't
Must
know,
be.
I'm not
Yeah.
Pat.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
well,
I didn't know we were under interrogation in here today, so.
somebody messed with our lives, Tony. Like big time, and you've been part of that for years.
I did not call CPS.
I know you didn't now.
Okay.
But you have committed a lot of offensive things in our life. And
No,
so,
you say you know who did it. Why don't you fill us in?
okay. So, I have a few other questions about this data request because I know you put Suzanne here, and under the binoculars, I get to see when she was added. I think that's great. That's great. Then we have Daryl, but his is under settings, and I'm just wondering where his data points are, because you did put it on here, but I'm also seeing that there are 2 logins, and Suzanne confirmed this, that there was the old email login and the new email login. So that must have been when the transfer happened to the different IT company. So Suzanne H is a login and Suzanne Hursted. But Daryl J never got removed, which would have been a door swiper. And what I understand is that door swiper had access because Shane was apparently using it. That's what was told to me. So can you confirm or deny that?
Does it not say Daryl J was deactivated in the top part?
Yeah, on July 7th. It doesn't say that it was created on July 7th, but where's his other creation? Because he was here before that. That's why I want this same printout that you did for Suzanne H for Daryl J. Because I personally believe he had access because we've gone through hell in that Commander Rash. I'm just telling you. And there has been, and if Shane was here, we have him recorded saying there has been awful stuff going on. Justin pulled Daryl into a meeting the day after because Daryl was down at Public Works per usual and said, all I want to do is come to work. And Shane said, I agree, there's so much shady shit. I have it recorded. There is so much shady shit. And Daryl says, I have no ill will. I want peace for the Alshire family. I want none of this. Which is a complete lie because he was the curator of all these fabrications in the past. Him and Tony worked together to watch cameras. Justin has been called a liar.
Tara, let's focus on this issue.
You
Who
told me
did
that
it?
this meeting was for us, so
Yes,
please let
it's
it be
for
that.
you, but let us know who did this if you feel you have information.
Well, I can prove it. It was Daryl Johnson. So, and you probably know that.
I did not know that.
Did you know that?
No.
Well, then he's lying to your face. You didn't catch that in this? You're a bright woman.
It doesn't say which videos were watched. It says when they logged in.
Come on. It was a Sunday.
So what this correspondence in what you're going after here is you've been trying to determine who made the anonymous report to CPS.
Correct.
Because not only would you like to know, but you'd like to follow up with some type of legal action.
It's such
To
an
my knowledge,
ongoing thing.
this is not it's not a criminal matter.
Okay.
We have never, in my career, I've never seen anything like this where a report was made, and the intent behind the report to CPS was somehow cast into doubt in its sincerity, and that person was charged criminally with some type of thing. I'm not clear.
There's history.
You know,
There's
I'm not.
a lot of history.
So that's my
Yeah.
that's my observation.
If this was the
But-
one and only thing that has happened to us, I completely agree. But we have 2.5 years of targeted harassment, ostracizing, what's the workplace, hostile work environment. I mean, the amount of stuff that I have is unbelievable. I have gossip that's been happening in City Hall, disparaging things said about me constantly. One of the City Hall employees literally says, and I quote, "They probably left their kids in the car, or Amelia in the car." The other thing that was said was, "She is so disrespectful. How could she tell?" They twisted something that happened, saying that I told the fire chief to, and pardon my French, but he told me to fuck off twice for no reason. I went back to the area where we originally were sitting to grab my stuff. I did not have my child. This person in City Hall is like, she had the audacity and how disrespectful. She says, "Fuck off" to the fire chief and in front of her children. I mean, they're just spewing toxic lies. And so then I had to take time. I've been at every single meeting. I'm trying my damnedest to not want to be involved. They keep doing it to us. We have no reason why. We have never got one reason why. He got in trouble one time because he didn't get all the helicopters out of the gutter. Tony called him a liar because she researched the forecast. In that meeting, he had a union rep, thank God. That union rep said, whoa, 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 I want a data request of those videos. Tony then had to admit that she went back and watched the videos, and when Justin said, well, it rained, that's why they came out of the gutter. She's like, oh, yeah, I went back and I guess I had the wrong date. These are the things that mean piddly, and we're talking 2.5 years of targeted harassment, ostracizing, I mean, horrific. I've contacted a lot of different attorneys, one of my attorney friends who actually supports the employers, gave me a lot of good points, and he said, once you get to this amount of data, you have a case. But we weren't there yet. We're there now. So that tells you how much we've gone through. We have gone through
Yes.
years.
So, but when you're talking case, you mean some type of civil litigation,
Yes.
not a criminal case that we're discussing
No,
now
but
today.
I would
Right.
like,
And you were
harassment,
able,
like an HRO, but regardless, the suspect pool isn't very big, let's be real. And when I've talked to the mayor multiple times, she said, if this falls back on the city, I will take care of it. And the plain and simple fact that the one thing that I keep insisting on is it does fall back to the city no matter what. Because even if these people who could log in created a very damaging rumor, if this theory of some wild Fruit Loop out there got the information, it would still have to come from the city. So the city is culpable. They are held responsible. These people are public servants held to a high standard to keep privacy and safety to the community. What they did with this footage was not safe. I also know that the Duluth Police Department has watched the video. How did that happen?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was at a retirement party of some sorts, at the OP. One of the people that you were told to watch the video about, Scott Williams, who used to be a former PD, walks into this party and says, and you know, it's just like a loose, having fun party, and it's with a lot of Duluth police officers, and people come up to him because they know him and they say, Williams, what the fuck you doing, man? I just saw you on a video causing problems up at Rice Lake. And Scott didn't catch it right away, but because he knew that you guys had got the video, you guys. But he was just like, yeah, I mean, wow, this is shit, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, freaking, you guys are nuts. And some lady leaves her baby and all this. And so how would that have happened? How would that have happened when these are the only people that should, and you have watched the video? That's why you're here. Because you told me Wick didn't watch it. You told me Donahue popped in for a minute and then was out. And then you said Ramsey watched a bit of it. Okay? So that basically puts it back on you, Ramsey, and a little bit of Donahue. And so what I'm trying to do is, for your own sake, you be able to say, well, I know I didn't share it. And when you were looking at it, you were told, from what I understand, I still haven't got those emails yet, you were looking more at the crowd, they call it the hate mob, that was outside. And so you were trying to decide, you know, what is good conduct at a city meeting, and like that was you told me, yeah, like we're just getting a temperature on people and whatever. And so that's where the video could have stopped. Like, absolutely. If there's behaviors that aren't allowed, absolutely. But that's where the video should have stopped. And I want to know what's going to be done, because it went too far. And I want to look at this person and have them give the chance to say, I didn't do it, because I know for a fact that's a lie. It's right here in the logs. So he gets added back on the 7th. Okay, so let's go back to, all right, this is July. It all gets added back. He's got 0 activity. We have Tony downloading the stuff from, maybe it's on this one, June 23rd and the 24th, which I kind of found interesting because you said you weren't going to save those, but you did save those.
Per the other data request the actual data request that I received.
From
Chad.
But you said you followed up with him and he didn't clarify the June date, so you saved them on a whim, but you wouldn't save them for Scott.
No, because Scott did not submit a data request. I asked him if he wanted a data request and he did not respond.
But the monitor has done data requests via email,
Yes,
so why can't Scott do a
he can
request via email?
with the form filled out.
But the monitor has a template for the form, or for the data. He didn't fill out the form all the time.
No,
He still
he
got
did
it.
not, because I reviewed the policy and realized you have to have the form filled out, which is what I told Justin when he requested this stuff last time too.
Technically, I don't think you have to have
No, you
a
don't.
form.
Our
Like,
policy says it has to be
policy,
filled out on
but-
the form.
Yeah, I just don't see policy overriding what every other state does.
Policy, city policy overrides.
Does it?
I just checked on that.
I have no idea.
Okay.
If you want to submit something to St. Louis County for data, do you have to fill out a form? Yes.
Yeah.
I know that. You can't just send emails in.
I do have that form.
So I believe that, that the city would, I believe any municipality would have the similar thing.
Okay. And we'll look into that, because what happens in our case is it feels willy-nilly. When it works for somebody, it works for somebody. When it doesn't, and it's us, heck no, you have to do this, you have to do that. And it's very, again, the best word for it is targeted. Because certain things don't exist until there's a problem. Until this became a problem in our world, there was never a security camera policy. Now, in the messages to Pat O'Malley, all of a sudden, there's a policy coming about.
Tara, when we have issues come to the forefront, we go to check our policies. And if we find we don't have one, then yeah, we're gonna create one.
Okay.
If we haven't needed it before, we really haven't paid attention. There's a ton of policies that we don't have, that we,
I
as
agree.
opportunity comes, we're gonna do it.
Absolutely, I agree.
And
So,
obviously,
You
this was a
haven't
big one.
needed to change the 20 days until our stuff comes in. Then all of a sudden it goes to 7 days. And then even the council's going, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't even fulfill a data request in 7 days. Do you see how it is? There is smart people in play, and I'm complimenting you, but there is manipulation tactics to cover up certain behaviors. And all we've ever wanted was a why. Like, why did you start hating him? I'm just curious. Like,
I don't hate Justin.
what was it that spurred this?
When we saw behavior and activities that didn't seem right for an employee, we started digging into it.
Okay, so can you elaborate on that? Because the first initial thing was that he didn't call and get approval for a truck window switch.
Correct.
And he got 3 days suspension for the company, Ness, that never got yelled at or anything. There was no policy in place. And
There was a policy.
no,
in
it got
place.
rewrote after that.
No, there was
about
a policy
spending.
in place prior to.
And nobody called to tell Ness, hey, when we have employees bring vehicles down there and they have something that's over $100, you need to call us. Because there was a clear miscommunication. You knew it. You know he is kind and submissive. You guys went after the lamb, and you've been doing it the whole time. And it's very obvious, and this is proof that we've had no problems until Daryl Johnson gets back on council. How is that? How is that?
I can't answer that question.
It's pretty fishy.
It's obvious. Look at this guy. I don't even want to get into emotion. What's been done has been evil, and you have to have some ounce in your Grinch heart of knowing that what's been done to him is wrong. And if you can't say that, then I have no hope for your ethics or your morals. We have Daryl Johnson logging in at 1:12 in the morning prior to the weekend that this got submitted. Now this got submitted on a Sunday morning at 9:49 a.m. through an electronic, because at first I thought there was a call, so I did a data request to St. Louis County for all transcripts on non-emergent 911, just to see if I could get the caller tone. I tell you, I'm an investigator. I will not sit still. And when somebody attacks my family, when we are innocent and kind, you bet your buttons I'm gonna find out who did it. And I have that right. I have that right to ask questions at council meetings without getting glared at by city hall employees. I have the right to be here and to be proactive in the decisions that are made that affect us. My husband's job. This place has not been healthy for a long time. Okay, so July 17th is a Friday, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry. Do you have a calendar?
Yeah.
Okay. So Thursday at 1:12 in the morning, Daryl starts accessing. We have him on there from pretty much 8:30 at night till almost 2 in the morning, watching footage.
What does it say that he's doing right there?
He's on the app.
Okay.
What would he have to be on the app for from 8:30 till 2 in the morning besides watching? Okay.
I don't know. We do get alerts when there's motion on
Oh.
the cameras. I have logged in at 2 in the morning as well.
So.
For how long?
I hate to,
Exactly.
I hate to pull us back on track here. I certainly, appreciate the invitation, but I can't offer speculation.
Right.
So,
No.
as to what, I understand that, let's,
The day of the report, he's on there at the exact same time for 2 hours and 6 minutes and 42 seconds on a Sunday. Speculate that. There are things, what is it called when you go to trial without,
Probable cause? Or-
circumstantial evidence?
circumstantial evidence, exactly. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Is that basically where we're at? I'm sorry. But if the gun is in somebody's hand during the time of a report, what would you assume? I'm asking.
All,
And you have
all
a-
we can do is ask him.
And what happens when he says no?
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, he did say an oath to the office, so I mean, he has to be
Not to mention,
100% truthful.
he was, speaking of oath, he was put back on the system before he was even sworn in. Is that legal?
It was the same day, wasn't it?
It was the morning of, but it doesn't matter. He wasn't sworn in till that evening.
That's a technicality.
Oh, look at this technicality. Come on, Jamie.
No,
Let's be
he was
real.
going to be sworn in that night. Tony had the opportunity to reactivate. I don't see an issue with that. I really don't. We're talking about a matter of 8 hours difference.
I know what technicalities and like being human is, and like I agree. She gets that grace. He doesn't get that grace on anything.
Yeah, here's like, even just some other, like, just little stuff that in the bullet points and stuff.
He was accused of theft on what are they called? Shelves? racks, whatever. They tried to say that not only did he steal them, he didn't come back to work. We have video camera footage of the 8 minutes he dropped these off on our property that were bought, paid for, like all the things
In a city vehicle on city time.
on a coffee break, and we've already established this.
They don't get coffee breaks, Sarah, we've established that.
I have the whole recording if you want to see it. because
Well,
she's
and
fine.
so,
So-
and, you know, and I don't mean to be, it's not that it, that has nothing to do with me.
I know. I only brought you
And,
here.
you know, and I'm pretty sure that the sheriff would be upset that I was even in
Yeah.
a meeting of this nature.
I'm sorry. I
That,
only
that
brought you
deals,
here
that
to.
deals with your employment, you know, and
Right.
so on. So I
Okay.
wanna stress again that I'm here on the invitation of the mayor to
Okay.
lend whatever I can,
Okay.
but I also don't want it to turn into something
Right.
that's not beneficial for everyone.
Right.
I wanted you here because you seem like the most level-headed. I hate that guy. I'm so sorry when I get mad at her. There was a strong assumption that you guys shared. She even said, and I quote, "I can't know who the sheriff's department gave it to. I want you to look at her and tell her what you did with that video link."
I didn't say gave it to, I said viewed. You asked who viewed it.
Okay,
I could not determine who
Okay.
viewed it. I emailed
he's
it
here to tell you.
I don't care who viewed it, Tara.
Because you're making an accusation that says that that report came from somebody who they let view
I
it.
never said that. I never
You-
accused anybody of calling
Well, then
CPS
where
on
is
you.
my
I don't
emails
know
with the
who
sheriff's
did.
department that I keep asking for?
That your request specified staff.
No.
Wade is not on
No.
staff for the city of Rice Lake. That is exactly what your request said. You've submitted another one, and once I get through the 5 other ones I have sitting on my desk, I will
Okay.
get to that
So
one.
then we're gonna go back to the technicality. She can behave like this to people that, I mean, do you wanna see the request? You wanna talk about technicalities and looseness? I couldn't have made it any more clear. Here we go. This is again coming from somebody who just got CPS called, and I just spoke with the mayor, and she said, "I support you trying to figure out who did this to you. I will take care of this, even if it does come back on the city. I will figure out a way to handle that." I have her recorded saying that.
I don't deny it.
Yeah, and it's totally legal. So, and you say that in one of my other recordings. So on 7/31, when I am officially finding out that somebody called CPS on us and I just figured out that it was from the city of Rice Lake, I write in my data request, one of many, a comprehensive list of all names of city staff that have viewed the footage, which would mean you, from June
Again,
23rd.
data is actual data, not me compiling lists of information that you're asking for.
Listen to the rest of the request. June 23rd, including the council and where the video was viewed. If viewed in a setting, where and when. If sent in an email, I want all correspondence. If sent in a text with any links or otherwise, I want all exchanges. Could I have been more clear?
What didn't you get that you asked for?
the emails that she sent to the sheriff's department with the links attached. She has dug her heels in to prove that she has power over me. This is the shit we've been dealing with all the time. You talk about technicalities, so she can be loose on when she adds Daryl, but I forget the word sheriff department, or I don't specify. I mean, you are city staff and you sent it in an email. How is that not appropriate? So there's your equation, Tony, with you trying to like deny that you're ever in the wrong. You're a city staff, you sent it in an email. I wanted all correspondence. I shouldn't have had to wait this long for it. Answer that. Just once admit you're wrong.
A comprehensive list of all names of city staff that have viewed the footage, including council. If sent in an email, I want all correspondence. I read it as staff. I did not read it as.
What are you?
I am staff, but I read it as internally staff.
Yeah, when I've asked you 3 other times about that one, and you had a chance to reread it, and then you intentionally dug your heels in, and then you specifically say, the system does not keep track of this. Baloney, it doesn't.
It doesn't keep track of who viewed the video. Does it
Yes,
tell
it
you
does.
right? It tells you right there, Daryl Johnson logged in and viewed the video
On
from
the app.
June 23rd. It says he
On
viewed
the
the video
app.
from June 23rd.
It shows you downloading video footage from June
Correct.
23rd.
Daryl Johnson viewed the video from June 23rd. It tells you that on there?
That's not what I'm saying. You're being, this is a technicality. This is why I'm saying you make it hard when you want to make it hard. You make it easy when you want to make it easy. You have ruined our lives for the last 2 years being this person. And this is supposed to be the representation of our city. Aren't we supposed to have kindness, compassion, willingness to help the community? This is childish. This is puerile. And then I reviewed the emails. The city phone did not find anything. This was sent to me, by the way, within, I can't even tell you. So how she got everybody's cell phones is beyond me. Correspondence with the videos. You said yourself, correspondence with the videos. If sent in an email, I want all correspondence. Just say you're wrong. For once, just say, I screwed up. Because he had to.
I read it as staff. I did not read it the way you're implying.
Say the words,
so-
Tony. Is it hard for you to say you've made a mistake?
No, it's not hard for me to say I made a mistake. If I would have understood what you were fully
Still
asking.
can't say it.
You already knew he had the video in the email. I didn't
That's
think you
why I
were
was
asking for
asking.
more of it.
Yes, I was, because I wanted to cross-check what you sent with what I'm getting from them. This is what we've been dealing with on a daily basis. I want to.
Yeah.
We've been through hell making a family. I have a 5-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy who we almost lost. 20 days old, she had brain surgery, just was working here. We had an old GMC truck. He was driving back and forth to the cities because I was in the NICU. Oh, it's been hell, right?
Absolutely.
The next attempt at having a daughter, I find out at 23 weeks that she has a myelomeningocele spina bifida. They do a surgery through me, take out my uterus, fix her back, put her back in. She's stillborn. When this started happening, the one person I thought was my friend, I was on the phone with, it was Daryl Johnson, and I said, he said, how's it going? And I said, well, we're finally living life. You know, we're doing things. Justin has a hobby. He's got a little Etsy shop. Guess what, Daryl? I'm pregnant, but nobody knows. The most high-risk pregnancy you could ever have. I was monitored almost every other day, just so I didn't lose my child. And in the midst of that, they had the audacity to do shit like this. Constantly. Constantly. I spent every day on anxiety meds just hoping that I didn't lose my baby. Wondering if it was even alive. What kind of people do that? What kind of people do this? That's why we're here.
And I apologize if you're getting roped into something. I didn't mean it like that, but I wanted to make sure that it was said out loud that the sheriff's department would never mishandle this video. And that the sheriff's department didn't even have it on their radar about the lady with the baby. Am I wrong? Is that right? Like,
That is correct.
okay,
I reviewed the video for the actions of people, including yourself.
Yep.
As far as it pertains to the council meeting. And then I came back to, I guess it was 2.5 meetings.
yeah,
To regurgitate that we're all going to, have decorum when we arrive.
I have that
Um,
city council meeting too.
And that wasn't, and so that was the nature of reviewing that video, which is, which is appropriate in the course of my duties.
Yeah.
It was not a criminal investigation.
No.
As you know, nobody was cited or anything,
Yep.
For that.
And
Yeah, and obviously, as I think you understand, I don't know who made the anonymous
Yes.
complaint. I do know it was none of our staff, because they would have to
100%.
act on it, obviously, if that's what they were concerned about, including myself, who viewed the video.
One thing that I just wanted to bring to light, because you were the viewer of the video. I have been painted a crazy woman. I have been painted as the worst person on the planet because I love him, and I'm not gonna let anybody walk all over our family. Now you understand the reaction in that video when they put Daryl back on council. Like, it was already pre-planned. Our lives have changed since that day. You can understand the visceral reaction that I had in fear of what was coming. And this just solidified that. We didn't have any problems until he got back on council. The night that he got back on council is the night that you saw me in the parking lot, being scared. I even told Bob Quaid, remember my children's faces when my husband is unemployed. Because I knew this was coming. This is what we've been dealing with. I don't know how else I can be. I've been patient. I didn't even do data requests. I had every ample. They wrote me crazy. They said she doesn't have any receipts, and I was like, I can get them. This, that, and whatever. Until it crossed the line with my children, I was like, oh, hell hath no fury, because you just scorned a mother. You can scorn a wife all you want, and I will defend him, but you come after my kids that I am so lucky to have.
Yeah, it was wrong.
It's very wrong. And that's what I just want is recognition that the city does screw up, and the city takes accountability for screwing up. The city, for once, just needs to own up to some of the behaviors that have been happening. Or all of them, for sake of a better way of putting it. When we get to the point of, filing charges, I don't know. I've been given many different advice or pieces of advice, attorney, legal, whatever have you. I know that, in the civil world, we can do certain things, but I mean, I would hate for the city to look like fools if I could take this farther and then we have investigations that prove otherwise. I'm giving you a chance to own the behavior. And I have been pushed and shut up and cut off and painted crazy for 2.5 years, and I have not stopped. Because right is right, and wrong is wrong, and cruelty is deplorable. And we have dealt with cruelty. So anyway, I don't know how much time you have. I didn't want to take up your whole afternoon, but where do we go from here? Because we also have other things that you said that we could talk about in private, because you don't want me talking at the public council meetings, and this is our chance to clear a lot of stuff.
It's
fine.
dirty laundry.
I will stay here and meet with you.
Are the people who, the staff that are involved in a lot of this extra stuff, not this per se, are they gonna be talked to? Does anybody get talked to about behaviors, or is it just let her rip because she just needs to, you know, be wild and crazy, and then we'll say that we talked to the staff and then nothing changes? I still get glared at. Kim doesn't even say hi. I've never even spoke 2 words with her. I don't even know Kim. But she hears the toxicity. And we have proof that there's toxicity. We have audio recordings of gossip. Robin said, and I quote, the day after, when she accused me of saying fuck off to the police or fire chief, which I never did, she's like, well, we have a great staff, or a great council, and a great staff -1. Who's the -1?
Robin said that?
Yes, and I have it
Do
on
you have
audio.
the office bugged, or how are you?
Doesn't matter. Own up to your behaviors.
At this stage,
You can.
Mayor, I think, yeah, when we're
Yeah.
talking about, you know, morale, office morale and things of this nature.
Yeah.
I certainly can see, you know, how much, how passionate you are
Yeah.
about these things and how emotional this is. And so I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that maybe my presence wasn't much help.
No, it
But,
was.
but yes, I think I'll.
Yeah, no, I
I'll
appreciate
exit
her coming.
Stage left at this point.
I
All right,
really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
It
you.
was good to meet you. Thanks, Tony, Mayor.
Thank you.
And, yeah, absolutely.
I just want to know how to move forward. This has tortured our lives,
Well, you know how I feel about
but I don't.
reporting,
You know,
someone reporting you to child protection. I find it appalling. I need to talk with Daryl. I mean, I can't say what I'm going to do until I have spoken with him.
the only other person that it could be, which we know lives at the same address and obviously doesn't like me, if his wife is getting on his phone at 1 a.m. and doing this. But how unrealistic is that?
Is that even possible?
If she can log into his phone, I guess, yeah. And there aren't texts and that type of stuff because we only have 4 city phones, which belong to the 3 Justins and Shane.
Text, what?
You were asking about text messages and how I could have possibly gone through them quickly. Nobody on your list aside from Shane has a city phone. You
Okay.
are not allowed to get data from my personal phone.
Unless if you're doing city
Yeah, we
business
are.
on personal phones, then,
You can subpoena my phone, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you
you can-
can't, a judge can.
A judge can.
Yep.
I want you to know that we're not stupid. I don't know if our silence has come off as we don't know what's happening, but we very much do. And if you think that we're not holding back to let you guys just keep, you'd be silly. Okay? Have I not proven that?
Mhm.
Do not underestimate our intelligence, because I promise you, we've been doing a lot of research. So, that is not a threat. That is just telling you, when put in, I learned by going where I have to go. It's the same thing I did when I was going through stuff with my children. I did. Everybody said, oh, you're strong. I don't want to be strong. I don't want to have to go through that. I was forced to be strong. And what's strong? Not dying? That's not strength. It's called taking the situation and just dealing with it. And that's what we have done since this whole thing started to transpire. And doing it on top of jobs, on top of households, on top of children, on top of pregnancies, on top of, it has sucked the life out of me. I just want it to stop. And if you're not gonna make it stop, it's gonna go public. Because I cannot do this anymore. This is donuts from the snake on Valentine's Day. Remember those?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the kind of childish things that we have been dealing with. And
I'm sure you recognize that I can't share what disciplinary things may have happened with other people. Just like I can't
Right,
share
right.
anything that has occurred,
but everybody
with
knows
us.
his stuff because it still lives online, even though it lives.
Because you wanted it to be open.
I did want it to be open,
Yes.
so we could have family get up and say exactly what they needed to
Right,
say,
right,
because we
right.
proved our case.
That was
and it
your,
was-
that was your choice. That's the difference.
fine.
Other
And then
people
in-
want it to remain private, so you can't force it open.
No, but in the write-ups, there was supposed to be pieces of his work file that were removed that are still not removed.
From what?
From the things that were false allegations that never got proven, that shouldn't have been in there. And then you have me coming to the budget meeting last August when I'm pregnant and sitting over there and I'm asking, okay, so how do we have a supervisor that's just constantly around? Because we don't have that in our budget. And so basically what you're implying is Daryl is volunteering his time to be there and then make allegations and form letters with a title on it that doesn't even exist in the city. Do you see how it's all just fun and games for them?
You did have Hagstrom in when he's, reading the final decisions and stuff like that, saying, Paul, he was talking about something specific, I can't remember what it was, but he's like, but I can't say what it was because it should have been deleted out of my file, but he saw it and it was already, he mentioned it, but
Yeah.
he said he couldn't use it
We've been
as evidentiary. I don't know. I can't remember what it was that
There's
was
things
in
in
my
his file that
that
were just like
that
a
he couldn't
Word
use.
doc that doesn't even have a mayor's signature on it, that's just like created by Tony.
Would you stop accusing me of creating stuff?
It's your name on it.
Well, if you're looking for the mayor's signature, but it's mine, why would the mayor sign something I created?
A disciplinary piece of information in a work file, don't you have to get approval on?
Depends on what it is.
Depends on the severity.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, honestly though, there's too much power being abused. And that is black and white. And if you wanna know why the public is upset, it's because nobody is acting like normal humans. The trivial stuff that you do to us is very unfair. You get excused and you have grace for when you do it, but we don't get grace for when it's done to us. Why can't there be a healthy, kind, communal effort to be good? Why can't people be good? That's all I want to know.
I don't have an answer for that.
I thought things were headed in the right direction
I thought so
until this recent, the CPS thing. I thought things were, headed in the right direction, and then all of a sudden, wham, you get hit with the big one, and
They
That
were
really
headed in the
pissed me
right
off.
direction because Daryl wasn't on council.
right.
They've always been in the right direction since he's been gone. I don't know what vendetta. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. They tried to go after you, I defended you, and now everybody hates us. Because I defend. There's plenty of things, even this conversation that Justin had here where Carly is constantly throwing me under the bus, saying that her spouse would never do. Well, I'm sorry, then you should find a new spouse because I'm gonna always stick up for my husband. That's your marriage. If you want somebody that isn't gonna defend you, that's fine. But
She didn't say he won't defend her. The issue is you coming into your husband's workplace all the time.
all the time.
We defend our husbands
Explain all
At
the
home.
time.
every council meeting. You speak at every council meeting.
That is a citizen's right.
You are a property
Come
owner
on.
in Rice Lake. You're not a citizen of Rice Lake. You live in Duluth.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
You're gonna defend that.
I'm just
No,
saying,
it's-
I'm saying,
What you're saying is a technicality, just like this. You are staff.
because what I had heard from Mayor Heim, she said, you called, you think someone from staff did it. I was looking for staff to council emails.
And
I
you
wasn't
are
looking to-
staff.
Yes, but I did not send that video to another staff member, staff to council.
You still messed up, Tony.
I didn't mess up.
All I'm saying is don't sit here and point out technicalities because I'm a business owner in Rice Lake and try to discredit me from going to the council meetings and calling it my husband's work. City council meetings are not my husband's work.
Every time you come to a council meeting, you only focus on how it's affecting you as a business owner?
I
don't
have talked
think
about
that's true.
short-term rentals.
Yes.
I have talked about I've talked about many things. I've talked about conduct with the city in general. I can't believe you can justify how you treat us. You have the perfect opportunity to be human in this setting with 4 people. And you still can't.
In
You
this
still
setting,
can't.
you know I'm not the one that called. I didn't know who did.
That
What I
means
did when
nothing.
I saw you walk out the door with your baby and come back in without your baby, you know what I did the rest of that meeting? I watched the parking lot to make sure there was no cars that came through that could have done something to your baby. That's
We
what I
had
did.
him.
You did not.
Yes, we did.
You were both inside and he was outside.
Okay, we're not, okay, listen, you were in the meeting, so that's a lie in itself. That's a bold-faced
I
lie.
can see the parking lot from right
Give
now.
me a
The whole
break, that
time.
whole thing was full and I have the meeting video to prove it.
Do you want to go sit right there and you can look out? I watched the guy standing in the hallway for 10 minutes that didn't come into the meeting to see what he did too.
I was in the back, I had that, I'm not gonna get into this because you're defending very awful behavior.
What I'm saying, Tara, is I don't hate you guys.
You clearly do.
I do not think your children should be taken away from you, which is why I would never call Child Protective Services because
And why do you think I came in here and apologized?
I
Because I'm
appreciate
human.
that.
But
Yeah.
you have yet to do that.
I'm sorry I didn't give you
No,
the
no,
email
no,
that
don't
I sent
focus
to
on this,
Commander
Tony.
Rush.
Look it. Come on. You can't just say one little tiny apology.
Apologize for what?
This speaks volumes.
Because what I told Justin when he was here was that I didn't think he purposely stole the racks. And when we were talking about the security policy, I was not referencing him at all. I was referencing a couple that came in, looked at the history book, and took it without paying for it. That's the stealing I was talking about when we were talking about the security camera policy. I didn't even think, like I told him, that's all in the past. We want to leave it all in the past. I don't think his intention was to steal at all.
Because you
But-
didn't.
He took something from city property without asking.
He got you 11 extra racks for free.
I understand that.
Okay, let's switch gears then. Because you clearly, that was a bird. That was really weird. Did you see that?
Yeah, they were
Twice.
Came back for a second shot.
Must be those berries. Rosencrantz. I hate even saying this because I know he's in grievance, in greeting, but we've been there too, and you've been there too. Life still goes on. The amount of stuff that man has gotten away with that he would have been crucified for is unbelievable. We have the union video now. You can clearly, have you seen the union video?
I am.
Yeah, and guess who brought the union in here? None other than Mr. Johnson.
No,
Some-
he did
No,
not.
he did not.
No,
He
did not.
planted the seed into Rosencrantz to invite this guy in, and Rosencrantz says it that he knows this guy and that he had to have an invite. We know all of it. The point is that guy got forced to retire because Rosencrantz said it's not going to be a problem with council. Where do you think he would get that much confidence? Do you think he would say that it's not going to be a problem with council?
No, Justin obviously was concerned.
Yeah, No, but I'm saying in general, even if he thought council was on his side, do you think he would ever be that cocky or that confident? Never. Did Rosencrantz get in trouble?
I guess you
We're
can't
not
say.
at
You
liberty
can't
to
even
say that.
Okay. Well, think about it. Because if the answer is no inside your head, there's a fucking problem. Sorry.
Yeah.
I will not swear again. I'm so hot.
It's okay. You are aware of what has happened with your Justin.
Yes,
You are not aware of what has happened with anybody else.
I'm not.
And we can't make you aware,
No,
Right.
but,
I'm putting the thought in your head.
well, I have them in my head. I can't respond to those.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
You're like a jury to me right now. You have to understand that I'm trying to give you everything I can. In that video, that particular guy was forced to retire.
I
Did
did
hear
that.
that, yep.
So, because of some very toxic, confident overuse of power and whatever happened between the communication with Daryl and Rosencrantz, these two people basically pushed a grandpa out of his work. He said he went back to work. In that video, you can hear him talk about going back to work. You have that kind of mentality existing in the city, doing that to other people, and he's getting yelled at for helicopter seats coming out the fucking gutter? Come on! I have other talking points. You worked with your son, who obviously lied to you. Your son got the truck stuck. Blamed it on Justin. That got put into a louder mill for Justin. Anybody say anything about that? Did you apologize to him?
This is the first I'm hearing.
It was in your louder mill. Your son blamed him for getting the truck stuck and having to get a 4x4 is what you wrote on the thing. Do you have that louder mill?
Alright.
But you're
At the
saying
park.
it was Gavin that got the truck stuck, not you, Justin?
He said that.
Yeah, he was driving that truck for the day and then, or he backed up on the.
He backed up. Justin got the truck unstuck for him. Justin didn't call you and say, your son got the truck stuck. But you couldn't wait to get him in trouble for it.
It wasn't the fact that the truck was stuck was the problem.
What was the problem? Because you said he went to go get a 4x4. He didn't have to do that either. He locked in the hubs and took it and drove it out at 4x4. So it was a misinformation from your son that you have yet to either accept or apologize. This is the stuff we are dealing with.
But again, she's just saying this is the first she's heard this.
No, because it was brought up in the louder mill. And I have a recording of Heather bringing it up. You know I have a recording of everything. Do you not get that now? I have a recording of everything. So,
'Cause I don't recall. I was in here, but I don't recall that.
it
I
would have been
believe the issue was loading the logs in the truck to begin with was the problem,
and getting it stuck.
which,
Oh, let's talk about the mass texts that used to happen with, pardon my French, dick pics, sexual connotations, everything. That I brought up in the first louder mill. And that was a majority of Rosencrantz. Did he get talked to about that? Just asking, just putting it in your head. No, and guess what? There's probably a group message now that exists and Justin's not on it. Because as you see in the end of that union video, you can see Chanel look at Rosencrantz and go, dude, why the hell would he say that? When Justin says, does council know about this? Because they were like, what's his problem? Why is he doing? That's the ostracizing that has happened to him. Can you imagine going to work and being completely on an island?
no, I wouldn't continue to work there.
That's what you want, though. That's what you want. You want him to quit. He's not going to do it. He loves it here. I don't know why. Believe me, I don't know why. It's in the second louder mill.
I can't remember.
There's too much stuff. It's the second loaner mill with the bullet points that Heather had. Regardless, it's there, I can find it, I can show receipts. And that's another thing too, Carly's like, where's the receipts, you really want me to start posting? Be careful what you wish for. Be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Can I change gears for just a second? I do have a question on your data request for all the emails between me
Yeah.
and Daryl.
Mhm.
We were managing 2 different projects at that time. Do you honestly want all of the correspondence in those emails as well? It was the Rice Lake Road sewer extension was happening during that time.
Okay. If I can put my God's honest trust in you to be a good person even when it doesn't look good on you,
Yep.
then I respect you saving me that.
Okay.
Cause I don't need to know about, I really don't.
Right, cause it's.
But I do know how you have talked about him in past emails. Like when you said, I don't know if, what was it? Buckthorn is, Diamond Willow is hot on the market. You make snide, rude comments, and he has all those emails as well. Never an apology. Just don't even worry about it, we'll get it
Yeah,
another
she
day.
got it.
I want you to be present. I honestly, if this doesn't show you a tip of the iceberg, this is just one filing cabinet. This doesn't include my digital, and that is not a threat. I'm just saying, don't ask me for receipts because I will get you. I have everything because we didn't want to, and we seriously thought when Daryl lost, we cheered. We stayed up till 3 a.m. because we said, finally. And then it hit me like, oh no, he's probably more dangerous outside of here because he was still involved.
Mhm.
We have, is it a video, I think, or the recording of Shane. Shane wrote him up, or you were doing something, and he's like, why are you doing that? And talking extra loud.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are you doing? Why are you talking like that? And then the next day, Justin gets wrote up, and he's like, dude, don't worry about it. It's just because Tony saw me on the cameras taking a picture. And Justin's like, she saw you on the cameras taking a picture? What? And he's like, I'm putting it in my filing cabinet. Nobody goes in here. 1 week later, he was in trouble. That is the shit we are dealing with. I have pictures. Oh, this is one of my favorites. This is too good. Speaking of Mr. Rosencrantz, I wanna let you know, I don't know Justin, and I'm not out to get him, but I will be out for fairness because it was nothing but toxic behavior and never listening to rules. But my Justin gets written up. This lived in Public Works like that for how long was that? Like 3.5 weeks. He took the
Oh,
wing
yeah,
off.
something like that.
We have somewhere else that we have it dated. That is OSHA violation. If that's not laying down, that could, if it fell on your ankle, you'd be missing a foot.
I can't,
It's the wing from the plow truck. Now, if my Justin didn't put a goddamn chain on a plow truck, he got written up. Do you see the hypocrisy? It is targeted, it is intentional, and it is cruel. And it needs to stop.
Yeah.
I just don't know where to go from here. And I want direction.
well, as far as this, give me some time.
And don't believe everything that comes out of somebody's mouth.
I know.
I have a way to prove it, but I'm just double checking before I can.
I understand.
I don't want to out my source.
No, I understand. My full intention is that we keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly thought things were, like, even after, Daryl got, reelected, and we had a talk and had an understanding, and I thought things were fine, like, I'm doing my
He
job.
told me about that,
Okay.
so I thought so too.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, it just switched with the video, and
Well, what Shane says in the beginning of that meeting bothers me the most. He looks at Daryl and he said, no, there's shady shit you don't even know about.
Shane said that to Darren?
Yeah, you wanna hear it? I know it probably feels sneaky to record, but can you understand what we've been under?
I know you record all the time. I'm very conscious of that.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be a problem if people are honest, and I stand behind everything I say, because I have nothing to hide. Gosh dang it. Oh, files. I'm sorry.
this is gonna happen, we need to be on the same, field.
The day of the meeting.
Like, I get elected, I just wanna come to work. And
That's all I want.
I just,
I don't have any ill will. I didn't have it before. I worked with you through that PIP and all that.
Yeah, I know.
stood out there and helped you change, Justin.
but I don't know how that happened, where that came from in the first place, nobody has ever explained, like,
The PIP or?
yeah, just
That
like.
was from the hearing back in
Yeah.
earlier this year.
April of 2020, okay, yeah, something like that just came out of nowhere, and just like, I don't know, I don't want any more letters.
We will always talk. Okay, if there's any issues.
Oh,
it comes here first.
it'll come here,
In this
and
office.
I think Suzanne needs to be a part of something.
She will be a part of it.
There's a lot of fucking bullshit.
I'm not here to take over the city, I'm just here to help.
There's a lot of fucking shit you don't fucking know about, and I'm not gonna say that Suzanne can fucking say it. Yeah, no, I mentally, I can't.
Justin, I'm not here to do that. I'm here for other reasons.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet with you guys, I wanna know what's going on, I wanna be involved. Look at me, Justin. I'm not here for your job.
You don't want to. Okay, yeah,
Okay, no, not you. Okay, that's,
This theater that was built up in the community,
Yeah.
he lies through his teeth. To say that you're here for us and do the things that have been done to us is, I don't know, that's a different kind of person.
I believed him too, cause he swore on his mother's grave,
He
That-
did, in there, he said, I
Yeah,
swear on my
and-
mother's grave.
and I was like, okay, that's serious, okay? And
No
if
ill will
we- Yeah, if we
towards
can get
them.
past this, then we should be fine,
And that, I wanna see somebody just admit. But he's not gonna admit it when he knows what's on the line. This is, he should have been so thankful to even get brought back. I just think, I always try to process, like, how does power go to somebody's head so strongly? Like, I just, even in the reports, I mean, he talks as if he's the mayor. I'm sorry, but he talks like I feel like he belittles you. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it, but I mean, the way he takes control and I'm gonna invite this person up here and I'm gonna do this. It's like, she's the mayor. I don't know if you know this, but you still lost and they voted you back in. You're still council. But I mean, to have the public servant, it's not right. And we have the proof now, and it's like, I don't wanna have to keep going, but I will if
No, I
people
don't want
deny
you
it.
to have to keep going either.
This is gone on too long and there's too much. She couldn't even say she was sorry. She said sorry for leaving early. She said, I misunderstood you. She couldn't even say sorry about that, but she has yet. You and Suzanne are the only two people that have ever posed an apology to our family for what we've gone through. I'm just saying. I know you want to believe that everybody here is good, but I have a feeling that there are people who have personalities that you might not see. And it's so blatantly obvious to us because we are the target. And I honestly, I cannot figure out why. Why did it start way back then? Was he that awful? I mean, and you can be honest. I even look at him. I said, Justin, are you garbage? Like what?
And she did ask that.
I did because I was like,
and
what? I mean, I'm taking crazy pills.
And
Like, what's going on?
working on a project for the house or
I
whatever.
I said, just don't push boundaries
Right.
of like who allows you to. And so we've had these talks where it's like that can be an annoyance. John Werner was very gracious with you. He was
And-
so kind. He really, I just told him the other day, I said, I remember, because we had that one weird night with the humidity. John personally delivered my wedding card. And I opened the door and he goes, you know it's supposed to be like humidity factor of like 98. And I was like, leave it to John to know the forecast. But, and I'm not trying to like make him a saint or anything like that, but we never had problems until he died. And it was on his deathbed that they pushed the window switch thing. And it's like, are we serious right now? We were at the end of building our house and he had 3 days of suspension. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Well, after rereading a lot of the emails, going through, kind of prepping, for this, just to kind of, and them bringing you in after losing your husband,
Oh, how she did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you don't have to be there, but we're gonna push as far as we can here. We'll take care of it.
We
And-
have
and-
emails where they're messaging you, and I'm sure in a point of grieving,
Yeah.
like you probably don't even have memory or recollection.
Right, and I was just,
You wouldn't believe the way Tony talked.
I just forgot about a lot of that stuff, and I'm just like, it's just nasty behavior, and
It was like Mean Girls Club. That's what it felt like. And even Suzanne, and I will tell you this, and I know if she hears this recording or whatever, she will say, in the beginning, she only went off of what she was told and she trusted that she was being given the truth. And so she supported any discipline or any action because she believed what she was being given. And so when she looked at it, it's the same thing you said in our meeting. And I was, if somebody was at my bar behaving like this, like, or not bar, if somebody's at my business behaving like, and you guys have that right because on face value, what you see, yeah, but they're strategic, of course. They're only going to let you see something that's going to make him look like an animal. And it's like, I'm the one over there waving the flag. No, that's not true. And it's like, that's why they hate me.
yeah.
But I've never, ever, like, honestly, not came here in defense of our family. I didn't come here, I've never walked in and been like, I don't think you should do that road project because I think you guys are all a-holes. It's always relevant to what's happening in our life. And you can go into the history of everything. I double checked before I even said that today. I have never spoke on things that aren't relevant to our life. And at the Meet the Mayor meeting, when we first started doing this, I said, and that's why I asked for the minutes and one of the data requests, and you were sitting right next to me at the first one.
Mhm.
And when I walked in, I'm like, I'm here. And everybody's like, oh my God. I don't blame you guys. You only have what you've been fed. And at that time, I said, we knew that Daryl didn't get elected, and I just said, we are just praying for a peaceful 2025.
And we're not here to disparage the city in any way too. It's just the way things have been brought up, and people demand professionalism. They demand transparency, and with these two, with their correspondence, there's a lot of missing pieces that she's catching, and we slowly are understanding why, but it just doesn't.
I don't agree with that whole missing email thing, because I know I do emails all day long.
I can tell you, our email system is screwy.
Okay, well, you guys should get Gmail. 'Cause
I think
it's-
we're switching to a government doc thing,
We're
right?
doing something,
Yeah,
yeah.
.gov or
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, because there are times I look for something and I cannot find it.
Yeah.
And I know it's there,
Right.
Yeah.
but I can't find it.
I did the same thing,
Yeah.
in the last couple of years. It's just like, this does exist, can't
Mhm.
find it, and
Yeah.
and so I get that.
So, to circle back around to the most offensive straw that broke the camel's back,
Mhm.
did you get a chance to look at these? want-
I did, and I didn't see anything that I thought was helpful,
Okay.
but you're obviously seeing something that I
Well,
missed.
the only thing that I'm finding helpful is the fact that, well, one, I mean, the GPS really helps, but regardless, if I can't, I treat this like a trial, and if I can't use that, I need to find a way to use what I have, and what I have shows me that Daryl's lying awake in bed and watching these things. Look at this. Can I use your pen?
I'll keep it, it's a fallen pen.
Oh, I would love that. I'm gonna take it to the dental office. Here we go. Where is it? On the 17th. 1:12 in the morning? 12:36? I mean, a continuous login, an hour and 48 minutes and 35 seconds, just constantly logging in the middle of the night. I mean, that's bizarre behavior. And it's the right before the weekend that the report comes in, and on the day of the report, which is a Sunday, you have 0 staff logging in all the way from Friday to Monday, except for Counselor Johnson.
And if you were to say, can somebody else log in or view it, before everything got changed, her son Gage had it showed him logged in
Yeah.
under
We have
the
that
city
too.
website, that he had a saved file under Gage Bloomdahl.
Yeah, we would get things from Gage Bloomdahl at times. So there's dummy accounts out there. And Suzanne confirmed that, that was the case. But I guess,
I've never even logged in.
yeah, and that's that, we can
Mark
prove
her
that.
mark her off the list.
Yeah, she's not guilty.
Bring some kind of.
Well, one of the things that I was afraid of is that they would try to say that, Suzanne, I thought they were gonna shift blame because she had a login.
Right.
But it's just beautiful that it's like, no,
Yeah, Suzanne would never do anything
no,
like that.
oh my God, no. And actually, she's been wonderful to us, and I just wanna say that without throwing her under the bus, that, she's been a light during this. So, what do we do? What do you need from us? What do we do? Where do we go? What
I
happened?
suppose
As far as this particular issue, I have to talk with Daryl,
Okay,
obviously.
you know he's gonna say no.
We'll see what happens.
And what happens if,
I mean, I could print off my log like that and I can specifically ask questions. If he says no, I don't know where I'm gonna go at that point.
I've been working on it, it's just,
right.
the wheels turn slow. That's just the way it is, and it's like,
Of course, it's government.
exactly. And you know, I thought by bringing Tony in, and the first thing I said was like, I just wanted to let you know.
Mhm.
I thought that would set the tone for just getting some raw human behavior. And it just proves that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how humble we are, it doesn't matter how quiet we are, it doesn't matter how loud we are.
But I did catch something in that
What?
and how she spoke, and that she would specifically look out the door and see that you and I were in here. So she was watching us, and just the correlation of the parking lot.
How she
And
said, yeah, I was making
So-
sure people weren't driving in
so-
the parking lot. We have it on.
ears could be ringing,
Well,
and other
who's to
people
say
hear
she
stuff
didn't
like that, so.
inspire him to do that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
there's so many
she
possibilities.
was
but I just
in
don't-
that kind of a meeting, you're worried about who's standing in the back, and you're literally gonna say, I was worried about who was driving through the parking lot because your baby was out there?
It did
Like,
not
wait,
make sense at all.
that doesn't make sense.
Well, I do know when I first talked to her about this, when you called me,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I came up here, physically came up here,
yeah,
and she was shocked when I told her what had happened. She was shocked, and I know she was.
yeah. And I guess what we've always gone back to is that whoever did it, and without knowing, okay, so let's just say there's gossip happening and Tony says something like she just said. Without knowing who is in earshot, you have just created a very scary rumor.
I know,
Because
and
that in itself could have been the culprit for, and so if we didn't have this kind of solidifying and
Mhm.
we'll just focus on this, it still comes back to the city and their gossip because nobody else could see that. And she shot herself in the foot really by not fulfilling those data requests because you guys would have had an easy out. I can't know who Chad Alander showed it to. I can't know who Scott Williams showed it to.
Mhm.
But she's so hell bent on those technicalities.
well, in her defense on that, she does need to be. Because if we're giving data out freely
Mhm.
and not really making sure it's what people want, we could be sending out a lot of information that could start rumors. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I know,
I know she's
we're
very
on the
picky.
we're on the worst end of it, but she's picky selectively, and I guarantee she's probably smart enough to know that, like, okay, I got 2 of the He-Man Daryl Haters Club. Is that what they call us? I don't even know, but that's what I've heard. 2 of those people asking for the exact same dates, the exact same times, and the exact same cameras. She knew something was up because those dates came from somewhere, and I'm not gonna say anything more about that, but she knew something was up because those dates have stuff on their audio, if you know what I mean.
I'm not sure I do.
There's things that would be captured in those cameras or in the audio of those cameras. Things that were being said, heard, all of the above. So in a roundabout way of protecting herself, she can use technicalities to the nth degree, even when she fails on her half. You know, so it's like this guy wrote June, you should look at it. She had to go out of her way to like make sure that she asked him, I want you to clarify. And so when he didn't respond, it was the perfect out for her to not fulfill that data request. Which is just the type of person that we're dealing with. A complete list of any and all data requests done for any information or videos regarding June 23rd, 2025, dates and times of requesters' full details. This is Chad Alander. Video dates, June 4th, 23rd, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Great Hall camera. 10th, 24th, 7 a.m. So because he didn't write June, she said that she had followed up or left a message to clarify times and no response. It says right there. She tried to write him up for having bad handwriting when she was making him do a daily log, and then after he did the daily log, she made him type it, so he was writing it twice. There is a power struggle in play. There's Scott Williams. So I guess if you're so smart, if I was working this job, I'd be like, oh, I bet you this guy's same exact. Okay, well, I'll send him this. I'll just send it, and if it's not what he wants, he can write me back. I mean, Scott did email it, and then sent that. So it's like, but you know what?
He didn't send the form.
And he didn't send the form.
I didn't send the form, and I got the October 28th video, and I gotta look into that because there's like the three ways you can do. You can do a verbal request, you can do written, and then you can do email form for online. There should be 3 or 4 different, due to the ADA guidelines. People who can't write or type or who don't have internet access, but or the staff could write it for you if you do it verbally. Minnesota, I don't know. I just know a lot of other states do it that way, and
I just feel like that's a power thing, which is fine, because you know what, and honestly, I couldn't be more happy in this scenario, because it just brought it back to the city, because if she had fulfilled these, we wouldn't be here right now, because there's no way to know that these men didn't show their buddies. But what I do know is that the only people that could watch that video were members of City of Rice Lake, or staff, excuse me. So, and then just hearing how she says, like, I'm coming to his work as a council meeting, and then alluding to the fact that I'm a Duluth, this just goes even further into the short-term rentals thing, where they try to put that verbiage in, like, you have to be adjacent, you can't be a Duluth citizen. It's like, you tell me that wasn't for me.
No, I don't think it was for you.
Are you
Because
sure?
I'm pretty sure, because I know that they're, not developer, somebody wanted to come in from Duluth and buy up houses for short-term rental.
Oh.
And we did not want that to happen.
Well, you can imagine that we have some anxiety, reasonably, like, warranted, I feel. But then also, since she's not in here, I will tell you that when I get these emails from Daryl, her and Daryl, if something is missing, I'm gonna know.
I know you will.
Yeah, and it won't be good, because the one I'm looking for is very, very damaging.
When you get it, would you share it with me?
Do you know which one I'm talking
I
about?
have no idea.
Okay. I don't think it would hurt to tell her, because
It's up to you. Anything's up to you. Like you're driven by.
If you
a lot
wanna,
of
if
this
you wanna
stuff.
think about it for a while, that's fine, just let me know.
I don't mind telling you, because I want you to know how bold-faced Daryl is in pretending that we are fools to him being evil behind our backs. I mean, they have literally painted me crazy. When
And he's got a speed dial to Ramsey. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But Laurel called Ramsey out on that, and Ramsey said, people like to say they're my friends when it's convenient. And I was like, screenshot that. But,
okay. I didn't catch that. So okay. There's still stuff I don't even know. But then again,
do you think that, again, as far as the one I'm referencing, you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. I don't know. Let's just let things play out with what she has to say with Daryl
Yeah,
or
we're not gonna
anything.
get a lot of other chances, just so you know. It's not like we can do these meetings every week.
You've been in the driver's seat, so I'm just.
Well, because
I'm
even
just
if she
careful
says
the way
I know, but even if
handle
she
my
says
business.
anything to Tony,
Yeah.
we still get it, because then it'll be produced, because
Okay.
it has to be
Okay.
produced, and then I will wave it all over Facebook. Last August was my birthday, and I came to the budget meeting. I have it recorded, where I asked about Daryl's position, or like, and
I
it was,
remember that.
yep, and it was mainly just to point out the fact that allegations were made on him while Daryl was in that supposed role that we don't actually have. He wasn't under a liaison, he was considered a assistant supervisor, and we, you know, whatever, we went down that path. In that meeting, I've never talked to Mark Beebe before, and honestly, he, up until all of this, he's like, no, he's a really nice guy. In that meeting, Mark Beebe obviously got offended because I talked about volunteerism, and I think I explained this to you. And Mark's like, I've been doing it for 17 to 18 years. And I said, well, that's not my point. My point is that you can't pay your mortgage when you volunteer all the time. And my point is everybody's got to have a real job. But, you know, like I told you, I said, you're the HR liaison. You're not just hanging around over here waiting for somebody to have a
That was
human resources
I
problem.
thought that was
Like, did you
funny.
just cut your finger? We need to write this up. So in that meeting, I said what I said, and then after kind of sitting on it and ruminating on it, I just was like, you know, I wanted Mark to know that I didn't want to discredit any of his heart for the fire department. I have a screenshot of a message that I wrote to him, and I said, hey, I just wanted to clear up some misunderstanding. I'm really sorry if it came off like I was taking away your credit for being a member of, I don't even know how I said it, but I basically said, I'm really, really sorry. What I meant is just to point out that, oh, well, look at that. Hey, Mark, I wanted to reach out and clear up any confusion I had. I know at the meeting on Thursday, you stated that you were a full-time volunteer for 17 to 18 years, but it turns out that you work at Minnesota Power Elite as well for your career. That was the point that I was trying to make at the meeting when you chimed in, that when I said nobody can work solely for free without some source of income somewhere. I bet you don't work at Minnesota Power for $8,000 a year. I just want you to know that there are many behind the scenes things that you are very unaware of that will be coming out soon. Please know that my intentions were not to discredit your heart for the fire department or your many hours of dedication that you have in. I believe you are probably a great guy, going off of Justin's word and judging by the mutual friends that we have that share your love for what you do. I hope you can understand my direction now and know that I never meant to offend you, and if I did, I'm very sorry. I sent that the Saturday after that meeting, which would have been the 24th. I sent it, I saw that he viewed it, he did not respond, and by 6 p.m. that night, I had a secret email to my business email. Amity Creek Meadow wasn't even to Tara, and I think that was intentional, but regardless, it was an email from, is that it? Okay.
Look at you finding
Yeah.
everything
Woo!
out.
The things, no.
Hi Tara, if you want to meet and discuss a way to make things better, I'm available for conversation. There are a lot of misunderstandings that seem to only be getting worse. Many people say I should not do this, but you and I had a great history together, and us two can get things done. This is not a campaign move, because this was in the... We will work together behind the scenes to move this healing process forward. This run for mayor was spurred between you and I early on. I'm so comfortable with the outcome of the election. No matter which way it goes. I'm here. Sorry, he did not take it well. I'm here to have us heal. It's in the video that was sent to Justin last week, which is another, it's like the PIP was created by Daryl, and then he acts like this warrior that came in and helped Justin do a good job. It's like, Justin wouldn't be in a PIP if you didn't make allegations. Like, this is a weird,
Yeah, if you weren't the one
feels like
producing evidence.
Munchausen's. It's
Yeah.
Munchausen's.
Yeah.
I will work hard to make this happen and restore peace for the Alshire family, but we need to do it together. Let me know if you want to move forward in a positive way. Thank you, Daryl. Saturday, August 24th, 6:27 p.m. I'll have to look at the time there. Good morning, Suzanne and Tony. I think we need to start being prepared for more visits from Tara. This is 25th, 26th. I think we need to start being more prepared for visits from Tara. I think the public speaking should be at the beginning of all public meetings and limited to 5 minutes like we have it now, but even at other posted meetings like finance. Jeez, I wonder why. Public discussion. Public discussion for any items not listed on the agenda. Discussion time is limited to 5 minutes per presenter, so he highlighted that. This behavior she is showing is that of mental illness. She seems to have some paranoia going on, and I'm not the only one noticing this. Also, inviting the deputy to these meetings is looking like a necessity moving forward. Daryl D. Johnson, City Councilor, City of Rice Lake. He called me mentally ill because I didn't respond to an email. While I'm pregnant, dealing with his shenanigans because I called him out the Thursday prior. Because Mark Nemi obviously took it upon himself to forward my message to Daryl. How is that okay? He is, and then in this recording that Justin has, I will work with the Alshire. Don't even try to talk to me. You have stabbed us in the back on everything. I thought you were, we supported Daryl, we hired him, we got way lower bids on a lot of things than I told him when we were building our house or doing anything. I was like, yeah, but he's our friend and he knows this area and I don't even care if it's more expensive, let's just do it. That's what you do for friends. We always thought we looked up to him. And now I want to puke that I told him that. But anyway, to wrap this up, I don't know. And I'm so afraid that your kindness is going to be taken advantage of because I truly think people are going to lie to your face. And I don't know how to navigate that. Because they did the same thing to Suzanne until she was on the out, and then I have messages saying, I'm so sorry, you were right about everything. So how do I, as me, get through? I'm not making this up about people. The proof is in the pudding. I have every recording, I have every document, I have every single thing to nail them to the wall for this behavior. Even Shane, I talked to him out in the parking lot. I mean, you know I grew up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he worked for my dad. And we spurred right out the gate. I talked to him after the meeting the other night, and I just went up to him and I said, hey, how's it going? And he's like, hey, yeah, just checking my mail. And I was like, that's funny, because he must like want to be getting away from the house or something, whatever. And I'm like sitting in the city parking lot checking the mail. But he said, I said, Shane, has anybody ever told you why? And I was tearing up because he's a friend or a lifelong person. Yeah. I dated his brother.
Yeah, I knew that. You told me that.
Yeah, long time ago. But anyway, I just looked at him and I said, Shane, has anybody ever said why? And he said, no. And he said, and I still remember when I came in here, it was all rainbows and butterflies at first, and Justin was training him in, and he's like, and then like a switch flipped, and he looked at Justin. I reminded you of this the other night, but you said you didn't really remember. He goes, what did you do to piss somebody off? And Justin goes, what? And I was like, that's what Shane said. So Shane recognized it, and he said from the jump, it's like he was hired, and he told Suzanne this, I was hired to hate Alshire. I don't want to put him on the spot. I don't want to make him sit here and have to say that because he's not protected by a union.
Yeah, he's been really kind and just he's been.
Well, we've had talks, like when all that stuff started going down, I reached out to Shane and I was just like, what?
Although he's the one that brought the donuts.
I know. That's the double-sided sword with him. And we knew that because I did call Suzanne immediately and I was like, he admitted to Justin because Justin goes, oh, donuts. And Shane said, yeah, I had him down at the other meeting at Public Works and I just brought him up here.
Yeah. It was just like a little powwow with I can't remember who was all in the office. I think it was
No, you
oh
saw-
dear
There was Tony behind her desk, Daryl in the chair, Rosencrantz and Shane at the threshold.
Yeah.
Which just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell's going on here? I didn't even get a donut.
Well, after you read the snake thing, you're
Yeah,
like,
I
I
was
don't
like,
want one. Happy Valentine's Day. All right. Well, I want to make sure that I take the time to say how much I appreciate this.
Yeah.
I don't want that to go on. We are so grateful, and I know that this is an opportunity most people don't even get to have. I think that it's a rare circumstance given the situation that's been going on, and I tell you that I'm recognizing that, and I appreciate that. I will work with you to do whatever we have to do to move forward. Is that what
Yeah,
you would?
I don't
mean,
want
you're
to
the
hurt. I
employee.
don't want to hurt the city at all.
I know, that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. And that's why we've been quiet. Like, believe me, when they keep saying, show receipts. That's what they say when they want to see, like,
Yes,
you guys
that's
claim
like,
all this stuff, but you
yeah.
don't have any proof. You don't have any proof. And I'm like, oh. And I'm always like, hold me back. Hold me back. You want to see proof? I could show you proof. I could show you what you ate on Saturday. I don't know.
It is nice being able to get answers to a lot of this stuff, and we kind of have an answer of how it started a little bit.
Which part? The
with-
widow switch?
No, like kind of
With Tony?
yeah.
Oh, I did find out, because I've been digging
Yeah.
and digging and digging. Amelia's first daycare. She was fresh out of the NICU. I had to go back to work. I was working at Affordable Dentures at that time. We were broker and pot smokers. We were rubbing nickels together, living in my brother's basement. And we had just moved out of a camper before we
And
had
somebody else is
Amelia.
living in our rental. We're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't afford not to.
Right.
We had to have them so we could pay the mortgage. It's
Yeah.
awful. It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But regardless, Amelia was born in 2019, November. I didn't start her in daycare till January of 2020. Okay, so I go back to work. I'm at a daycare up in Pike Lake, and life seems to be going fine. I was learning how to cope with my postpartum and traumatic stress and all of the things, and I was just trying to be a normal person. And then all of a sudden COVID hits. And COVID hit hard for the dental community, because you can imagine you're working in an orifice. So my dental office just boom, shut down. I mean, nothing. And what they were telling everybody is, you gotta get unemployment, that's just what's gonna happen, that's the way it is. Well, the city of Rice Lake employees were still able to work because they could be remote. But we didn't have my income coming in.
Essential.
Is that, yeah, we just moved into, yeah, you were an essential worker, oh god. But we had just moved into the tiny home that barely got finished with concrete floors, all the things. Anyway, moral of the story is I reached out and I was just telling my daycare provider, I was just like, hey, look, they just cut off my job. I don't even know if I'm getting it back. This is a corporate dental office. They're probably going to shut down indefinitely in Duluth. I'm not really sure. I'm so sorry, but we can't pay you if I'm not getting paid.
Right.
Right? Well, this provider, her name was, or is Lynette, she was like, no, you have to keep paying to hold your spot. And I'm like, if the world is shutting down and we're expected to go on unemployment, you go on unemployment. I can't, what? Okay, to circle back around, she got really, really upset, and she returned all of Amelia's stuff, and she threw it on our deck, and she never talked to us again.
Drove to her house, yeah.
It's Tony's sister-in-law. We just found out. It's her brother, who is a hauler, his wife, whatever. It doesn't matter. But we've always wondered, like, how the hell did she even be in her bonnet to hate us? Like, what spurred it? It's not like she just decided one day, it's like, I don't like the way Justin works, so I'm gonna write him up. Or maybe she does.
Yeah,
do that.
maybe, yeah.
Maybe she does that. I don't know. But there is a connection that maybe it is something, maybe it's not. But after we found, we're like, holy crap, she's a hauler. That's Lynette's daycare. And they were mad. And it's like, so are we, the world just shut down and we have a disabled child with an open brain surgery. Like, what, you want us to keep paying? Like, how? But it was because I think we had told her, like, we're not working. And maybe I said we're, or maybe I implied us, but Tony would have known that he's still working. So I don't know if it is, but that would have been the year,
Just a little tiny piece of.
2019. It was like when that, and then we went through crap, and then it was like the minute John started failing and getting sick, it was like John protected you the whole time or something. I'm not sure. It's just hard, and it's like she loves the fact that we keep saying that lives online, but it's like, you wanted it open. Yeah, we wanted it open so we could rebuttal, so we could prove to you that that was wrong. And then after it was disproven, I would think that like there's no content that shows that it was disproven. It just lives
I hate that it has to be a reminder from Carly and Tony that you wanted it open. If I honestly, if that wasn't open, I felt like I was getting fired that day, and that was
because they didn't know.
Yeah.
They were only given the information that they were provided. If they hadn't got to hear, like my dad say, Daryl, that's not grading, that's ditching. 32 years of owning a trucking business, the other boss of Shane, you know, in both settings, Shane worked at North Shore Mining with my dad and at my dad's trucking company. I mean, and then your grandpa, who ran the exact grader, saying, what the heck is going on? You have one wheelbarrow in the whole city of Rice Lake.
We better shorten this up.
Anyway, yeah, sorry. It's just so nice to be able to, it's like, blah, you know?
It's that
so
kind
nice
of cool,
to get
cool
it off.
down and just kind of go
Well,
things that
and
you might have missed or.
I feel bad that Commander Rash was probably like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
But we did originally ask him from the get-go.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, we didn't have as much information as we have
Correct.
now.
Correct.
And from the get-go, it felt like you can't say that the sheriff's department leaks anything, because that's a strong accusation. So anyway,
But I did tell Shane that I just ended up punching out after having.
let's just keep it that way.
No, I'm just telling. I'm gonna keep it that way, but just so that if he does ask or whatever, that I use my own personal
To me,
time.
I would rather have it this way because it's so important to me. And that's the splitting hairs thing that I can't stand. Like when that union video came out, and then she tried to say, you all have to take 45 minutes of personal time, and Justin's like, I wasn't even involved, and then he had to fight to get that back, and that is the heels dug in that we have dealt with. I mean, it's like the amount of struggle that we've been given versus power. And even when you hear that, when he went and talked to him, and she's like, now Justin, you don't communicate, and had you just said I was picking up those racks, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. It's like, oh, give me a break.
Yeah.
It would have been a problem. It's always a problem. It's just, okay. So,
Could have had this there.
I just want you to know, we are putting a lot of faith in you,
I feel that.
and that is a respect. That's a level of respect, because if we didn't trust you, we wouldn't do that. And I know you said to me, you may like me, you may not like me. I only want an advocate for good. Even if that means the truth that I find out isn't, I want somebody who has enough common sense to say, that's not right behavior. You've seen enough. You know when somebody has ill intent. And you know when somebody's so smart that they can make it look like something else while they're going this way. And that's what's been happening. It's like, even with Daryl, like when he got up, what are these special features that I have on this security camera? Oh, come on. Knock it off.
This shows, yeah.
His
special.
show, it's like, and then tell me if I was actually deactivated. I'll be curious to find out if she can prove that, because if she can, then that's not good either. Because there's 2 logins, and Suzanne confirmed it. You guys gotta remember, I have an amazing source, and she's not malicious. I ask her questions. Hey, did you guys have a security kit? Yes. Did you have logins? Yes, I had 2. You know, it's never, she's not trying to hurt anybody. And she's told me many times, I just feel bad for you guys because you have been an innocent victim to all of it. And she said that. And I love her for that. Because she finally recognized that I might talk a lot, but this is all real. It's not crazy. But anyway. All right, let's go get a beer.
With the kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta go get them. Oh no, they've been in the truck the whole time. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, don't do this to me. Oh man. Hopefully, watch. I didn't even hit start.
Oh, I don't think you'd make a mistake like that.
I know, right?